Welcome to the first episode of the 2021 Christmas ROM Hack Fan Game Marathon thing, where I will be discussing a ROM hack or fan game every day of December until Christmas. This is the third year in a row that I am attempting this feat. The first time I tried it, I actually failed on day 14 because the workload was too intense, but last year I actually succeeded by the skin of my teeth and with a bunch of caffeine. And this year I'm hoping to repeat that success. So as long as there is caffeine in my blood and the Christmas spirit in my soul, I will do everything in my power to put out 25 videos on ROM hacks this month. So with today's video, I will officially have completed 4% of that task, so hooray for that. Now with all of that out of the way, it's time for y'all to deck the halls, because today on Phantom Vino's Super Show, we're gonna be discussing the one and only Super Mario 64 ROM hack released 2 years ago by Usernames Are Not Important, Mario on Indigo Island. This is an almost full-sized hack, which is to say that it contains 111 stars, which is 9 short of the original, but very close all things considered. Mario on Indigo Island gets its name from the fact that this game loves the color blue, or indigo, I don't know. Full disclosure, colors always mess me up. The other day my brother described something as teal, and I was like, what the fuck is teal? But anyway, the story of this hack is that the cosmic Goombas took over the Indigo Island, and now Mario must travel through the game's worlds and close the interdimensional portal. Yeah, this is pretty serious stuff. The first thing you notice whenever you fire up any game is always the presentation. So what do I think of the presentation? Well, it's pretty good. This is not exactly a revolution in terms of visuals, but what can you really expect? It's a ROM hack, and considering that, it looks very impressive. Judging from the textures, it's a substantial enough step upwards from the vanilla game, and on top of that, it has its own style that deviates somewhat from the original. Naturally, there is a heavy emphasis on variants of the color blue, at least at the beginning of the game. It has its fair share of new assets like these fat-ass spiders and the cosmic Goombas, which look like D&D dice with little legs. There's this cool graphical effect in the cloudy mountain area with 2 layers of clouds scrolling against each other to give a real sense of depth while flaming snow pellets fall from the sky. And my favorite, as usual, 3D coins. That's how you know it's been a while. I still find 3D coins impressive. And on top of that, the game has a lot of remixed tunes from other games and media, and it all sounds quite good. The levels offer a great degree of variety and diversity. There's this ice level where everything is icy and you slip sliding all over the place. There's this volcanic village populated with bombs and bullies. There's this 2-sided level where one side is sand and pyramids and the other side is icy and frozen. There's the underground spider cave and the salt mines. They're all distinct and unique from each other, which is important. We like that. In terms of difficulty, if I had to sum it up in one word, I would say that it is challenging. The game is very manageable with a small number of frustrating parts scattered here and there. Whether it's really precise jumps or maneuvers you have to make in order to progress or traverse the landscape, which can be frustrating. There was one puzzle in particular where you're supposed to use the momentum of sliding along ice after being launched out of a cannon to do a long triple jump to make it to this star, which was very frustrating because the timing and inputs are very specific and sensitive, and if you fuck it up even slightly, it's not gonna work and you're gonna have to try all over again. Between the specific alignment of the cannon and the precise timing of the jumps, it's a son of a bitch, and it made me very angry. However, the game has a lot of things to make it easier, such as the fact that you only need 50 coins for the star instead of 100 and 6 red coins instead of 8. The game also doesn't take away your coins when you die, and it gives you 10 lives to start out, which means even in its most frustrating moments, you can't get way too angry at it, and I enjoy not being angry, so I'm gonna say that's a good thing. It is worth mentioning that this game has a normal version and a a hard version. I played the normal version, assuming that it was the way the game was intended to be played more so than the hard version. Although I have tried the hard version briefly out of curiosity, and from what I can tell, the key difference is the fact that you need to collect all 8 red coins for a star, and you start out with fewer lives. The difference might not seem that substantial, but sometimes red coin missions are a damn nightmare. In any case, from my short time playing it, these seem to be the key differences, so keep that in mind if you're thinking of playing it. Something that I'm starting to see a lot of ROM hacks do these days is this interconnected level voodoo, where instead of going to a hub world with a bunch of paintings showing which world you're going to, instead, the levels usually have a pathway or a doorway to a separate level, so you have to go through levels in order to get to other levels. The more ROM hacks I play, the more I've started to learn about what works and what doesn't work as well as I thought previously. And after playing as many as I have at this point, I must say the interconnected levels are a really cool thing from the standpoint of world building and making the game's universe feel more complete and cohesive, but it's not always great for gameplay. When I have to go through a bunch of levels to get to another level that I haven't completed instead of going through an intuitive hub world, it can get very frustrating and make me feel like I'm running in circles. The worst part of it is the fact that when you leave the levels in Mario 64, it doesn't save the number of coins or red coins you collected. By far, it was definitely at its worst when I was in this water level and I was trying to go for the 50 coin star. But I kept accidentally leaving to an entirely different level, which meant I lost all my progress towards that star and had to re-enter and start collecting coins all over again. It was a pain in the ass. There are also some issues with navigation where tight corridors or sub-areas that look nearly identical to others at a passing glance can make it very easy to get lost and start going in circles, not to mention the usual camera nonsense. Technically, the game does have a hub world that slowly unlocks as you play, but it isn't exactly super helpful. However, when the level design is at its best, it can be very cool and impressive. It's definitely better when it's more wide open and easier to geolocate yourself and recalibrate your sense of direction. And as I said, the game is largely manageable in terms of difficulty, and it's remarkably forgiving of the player's imperfections with the low coin requirements and such. Another great thing about this game is its personality. Some of the dialogue in this hack is genuinely funny. Whether it's the penguins being smartasses or the star dialogue having a little fun, it adds a lot of flavor. And that's always a good thing. To sum it all up, this is a quality game with a couple of rough areas, much like any game, but no real deal breakers here, and I would definitely recommend it if you're looking for something to play. Otherwise, stay tuned for tomorrow when we unwrap the next present, as it were. See if you can guess what game it is. I'm not going to spoil it right away, but if you want a hint, then just try going all the way back to 0. That's the hint. Alright, Merry Christmas, cousins.